Cambridge Past, Present and Future is a local charity that cares about Cambridge and its green landscapes. This short video highlights some of the great work that the charity is doing to provide ponds and wetlands for wildlife, including tips and ideas for you to help nature.
There had been a pond at the heart of Wandelbury Country Park since at least the 19th century, but possibly a lot longer, perhaps even going back 2,000 years. However, the latest version had sprung a leak and had lain derelict for over a decade. Thanks to a private donor, in 2017 we were able to commission Robert Myers Landscape Architects to work with us to create plans for a new pond. They came up with a number of ideas, and in consultation with Historic England we eventually settled on a circular design with a bridge that could double up as a dipping platform for school educational visits. The cost of constructing the new pond was in the region of £50,000, and thanks to a grant from Mick George Limited and generous donations and grants, we raised sufficient funds to be able to start the project in the autumn of 2019, when volunteers cleaned the old pond liner and fencing. The main contractor was Miles Water Engineering. Their first tasks were to create the profile for the new pond and to dig a trench for the new pipe that will carry rainwater to the pond from nearby roofs. This bit of the project involved archaeological supervision, and we unearthed 2 pits containing shards of Iron Age pottery as well as some foundations from the 18th century, and these have been recorded to add to our knowledge of Wandelbury's history. The next stage of the project was to put in the pond liner. Wandelbury is on top of a chalk hill, so ponds don't naturally form here. Once the liner was in place, it was covered in a very thick layer of soil. This helps to protect the liner, but also ensures it blends into the landscape and provides a basis for plants to grow and invertebrates to burrow into. The bridge came next, as did coronavirus, and the contractor experienced significant delays in getting hold of the boards in order to finish it. Because it had been such a wet winter, the pond was about a quarter full from the rainwater. Our next task was to fill it up. We had planned to use our well, but the previous summer's drought had drained the well of water and caused the pump to fail, so we had to use the taps. We had 2 taps running all day for 3 weeks to fill it up, but in future rainwater should just keep it topped up. Before the pond was even full, there were bats swooping down to drink out of it and newts prospecting for a new home. We had planned for volunteers to put in the pond plants, but coronavirus meant that was not possible, so our wardens stepped up to the task. They have planted a range of native, aquatic and marginal plants. To our amazement, these established themselves really quickly, and after a couple of months they looked like they'd always been there. Once the plants were in, the pond was quickly colonised by wildlife. We even had 9 ducklings. The final touches have included laying turf for a new grass path, installing a memorial bench and seeding wildflowers in the disturbed earth around the pond. All being well, we're looking forward to removing the fencing and allowing visitors to enjoy the pond in 2021. This project has created much needed new habitat for plants and animals to live and grow, helping to tackle the global biodiversity crisis. This attractive landscape feature provides interest for visiting families and school children, who can learn about pond ecosystems and see different species that will make their homes in and around the new pond. The Binbrook stream is a tributary of the River Cam. Unfortunately, it's been damaged by human activity over the years. Pollution from agricultural runoff and the sewage treatment works means that the water quality is failing to meet new standards. The brook flows through Coton Countryside Reserve, which is owned by local charity Cambridge Past, Present and Future. We're working on a solution that will not only reduce the level of pollution and improve the water quality, but it will also create new wildlife habitat, cut carbon emissions, reduce flood risk and provide a new amenity for the local community to enjoy. The solution is to create a series of shallow pools that will filter the water from the sewage works and farmland before it enters the stream. The charity is proposing to use farmland that it owns and convert it into a wetland. Since 2019, we've been working with Norfolk Rivers Trust to assess whether it's feasible to do this project in this location and to come up with designs. Norfolk Rivers Trust has successfully created 2 similar schemes in Norfolk. So our research indicates that it will be possible to create one of these schemes using 2 of the fields at our Coton Countryside Reserve, which are currently farmland, including this field behind us here. We would have a series of 5 shallow pools that would be less than 20 centimetres deep, and there'd be no increase in smell. There'd be 2 pools here in this field here. The water would flow from the sewage treatment works through the pools and then into the Bourne Brook. We've carried out a consultation with the local community and stakeholders about our concept designs for this scheme, and they've been very supportive in them. As part of the project, we would also create new meadow habitats around the ponds and provide new public access so that people can enjoy the wetland. In total, the scheme would create several hectares of new wildlife habitat and contribute to the ambition to double the amount of nature in Cambridgeshire by 2050. We hope to complete the designs for the new wetland and secure the necessary permissions in early 2021. We will then need to raise around £400,000 to construct the new wetland, which we hope to do in partnership with Anglia Water, who operate the sewage treatment works. The feasibility phase of this project is being funded through the Environment Agency Water Environment Grant from the European Agricultural Fund for Rural Development.
If you have a garden, then you can create your own pond. There's lots of information online about how to do this. But one of the quickest ways is to buy a prefabricated pond. Then you just need to dig a hole and fit the pond in. You just need to then top it up with water, and then you can add any plants that you'd like to. We'd recommend that you buy a wildlife friendly version which has ramps up to it to ensure that if any creatures fall in, they can easily clamber out. We installed 2 of these ponds outside our feeding station at Wandelbury Country Park. We keep these topped up with rainwater that comes off the roof of the hide, and they're very popular with the local deer who particularly come to drink from them during dry periods. If you're not able to build your own pond, then you can still help wildlife by providing some water in your garden, which is fantastic to help birds and other animals, especially during dry periods, and they can drink from it and bathe from it. What you'll need is a bowl or a plant pot that doesn't have a hole in it, and enough large pebbles to fill it up nearly to the rim. You need to clean the bowl and the pebbles. Put the pebbles inside the pot or the bowl until it's nearly full to the brim. Add cold water up to the top of the bowl. What you're trying to do is create a shallow area of water so that birds can stand on the pebbles and splash around and have a bath or drink from it without drowning. Once you've done that, you need to place your bowl or plant pot in an area where it will be attractive for wildlife, ideally where there's some cover and they're not at danger from cats. If you don't have a garden, then you can still help ponds and wetland wildlife by helping an organisation like Cambridge Past, Present and Future with our work to look after the ponds that we have. Every autumn we carry out work in our ponds to remove overgrown vegetation and ensure that they're the best they can be for wildlife. We hope you are inspired by this video to create your own pond or to help charities like ours with our work. We rely on the support of people like you, so please become a member or volunteer your time or make a donation.